They said it was harmless until it started taking more than it gave. If you're over 65, this is not something you can afford to ignore. Growing older is a gift, but it also brings along truths we often hesitate to face. In the silence of our golden years, where our hearts are full of memories and our bodies echo with the whispers of time, there are things we must talk about. Quiet truths that no one told us when we were younger. You see, there was a time when pleasure was simple, natural, and harmless. But after 65, everything changes. The body isn't what it used to be. The mind, once sharp and fiery, now seeks comfort more than chaos. And the soul, it begins its journey inward. And yet, amidst this transition, many continue certain habits, thinking they're still harmless, unchanged by age. One of the most ignored yet impactful of those habits is masturbation. Now, before you click away, thinking this is just another bold headline, pause for a second. Because what you're about to hear might just change how you live the rest of your life. This isn't about shame. This isn't about right or wrong. This is about health. It's about your heart, your hormones, your mental clarity, and yes, your emotional peace. Modern medicine is catching up to what ancient wisdom already whispered quietly for centuries, that after a certain age, energy must be preserved, not spent carelessly. When you're in your 30s, your body can recover quickly. But in your 60s and 70s, every ounce of vitality matters. It's like a savings account. Every withdrawal you make has a cost. Doctors are now beginning to observe something startling. In men above 65, frequent masturbation has been linked to increased fatigue, depressed testosterone levels, weakened memory, and even cardiovascular strain, especially if the body already has hidden or silent conditions. You see, what once gave you a burst of joy can now leave you more tired, more anxious, and strangely, more empty. It's not about morality, it's about biology. The human nervous system is incredibly complex. Every release, every stimulation triggers a cascade of hormonal reactions. When you're young, the body bounces back. But after 65, the bounce becomes a burden. Your body isn't just reacting to pleasure anymore. It's paying a price for it. A price in terms of heart health, in terms of dopamine exhaustion, in terms of prostate stress, and in some cases, even increased risk of urinary tract complications. But here's the real danger. It's not always physical. It's emotional. Loneliness in old age is a silent epidemic. And sometimes the habit that began as comfort slowly becomes a coping mechanism. A way to fill the gaps of silence. A replacement for connection. A substitute for touch, for warmth, for love. And that is where the real harm begins. Because the more we retreat into that shell, the harder it becomes to reach out. Old age should be about reconnection. With nature, with wisdom, with others. And most importantly, with yourself. But how can you reconnect if you're constantly losing energy inward? There's a reason ancient cultures always advise preservation of sexual energy in later years. Not for guilt, but for growth. You're not 25 anymore. And that's not a curse. That's a gift. At 65, you don't just feel, you understand. You've seen life. You felt love, loss, joy, regret. All of it. Now is the time to rise beyond base desires and embrace higher peace. And that begins by being honest with your body. If you've been feeling more tired lately, more irritable, more disconnected, it may not just be age, it might be your habits. You deserve to feel calm again, strong again, clear-headed again. You deserve to wake up with purpose, not just pass time with pleasure. that's why this channel was born. To bring back the lost wisdom. To remind every wise soul over 60 that it's never too late to reclaim your energy, your joy, your spark. Every week, we're going to dive deep into truths that no one told you. Not to scare you, but to empower you. You've lived for others your whole life. Now it's time to live for your inner self. If this voice has touched something inside you today, then you know this message was meant for you. Stay with us. Subscribe to this channel, because in the videos ahead, we'll explore the ancient secrets to restoring your vitality, the mental tools to rebuild emotional strength, and the daily habits that can reverse the decline of age. Let's walk together, not backward, but inward. And in that journey, we'll find peace, power, and purpose together. When was the last time you truly sat with your own silence? Not the silence of loneliness, but the sacred silence of presence. Most people confuse the two, but they are not the same. One drains you, the other fills you. As we cross into the later seasons of life, we must ask different questions. Not how much can I get, but what am I still carrying that I no longer need? Because the truth is, many of us are still carrying youthful patterns into an aging body. Patterns that once served us, but now slowly drain us, one invisible drop at a time. And among the most quietly destructive of those patterns, compulsive self-pleasure in old age. The doctors won't say this on mainstream television, but behind closed doors, some of the most respected geriatric specialists are now talking about it. Not because it's taboo, because it's misunderstood. They're seeing men, proud, once strong, dignified men, coming in with complaints of fatigue, sleeplessness, numbness in the legs, a feeling of emotional flatness, and they can't quite pinpoint the cause. But when you dig deeper, one pattern begins to emerge. Overstimulation without connection, release without balance. You see, nature never intended for the act of release to be frequent, mindless, and mechanical. It was always meant to be connected, to love, to bonding, to meaning. But in a world full of screens, shortcuts, and endless triggers, even in old age, we're not safe from dopamine addiction. And here lies the great trap. Most elders think, it's harmless, I'm just relieving tension, it helps me sleep. But what it actually does is deplete your vital force. It taxes the nervous system. It confuses your body's natural rhythm. And over time, it begins to shrink the very part of your brain that controls focus, purpose, and self-control. This is not about fear, it's about freedom. Because once you understand what your body is truly asking for, you can finally stop giving it what it doesn't need. If you feel tired for no reason, if you feel unmotivated, numb, or emotionally foggy, if your blood pressure fluctuates, if your joints ache more than they should, or if your mind doesn't feel sharp anymore, it might not be age, it might be habit. And here's something even more important. Excessive self-pleasure has also been linked to prostate inflammation, erectile dysfunction, and even lower pelvic floor strength in older men, which means over time, it weakens the very body you think you're keeping active. The pleasure isn't free. It comes with a tax, an energy cost most men can't afford after 65. But there is good news. Because nature also provides a path to restoration. When you begin to redirect your energy, your clarity returns. When you slow down, you begin to hear yourself again. You remember your younger self, not the one full of lust, but the one full of light. You remember how deep your heart can feel, how vast your mind once was. And you remember what it felt like to just be at peace. But you can't return to that version of yourself if you're constantly scattering your energy. There's a reason spiritual masters, monks, and ancient wise men of every culture advocated sexual discipline after 60. Not to punish the body, but to preserve the soul. Because the soul gets louder when the body gets quieter. You begin to experience something rare, something lost in the modern world, inner contentment. A peace that doesn't come from screens or sensations, but from stillness. And once you taste it, you'll wonder why you ever gave your energy to anything else. The body you live in now deserves reverence. It has carried you through storms, through loss, through life. Now is the time to nourish it, not drain it. So if this message has struck something in your heart today, if you feel something shifting even slightly, then trust that feeling. It's your soul saying, I am still here. Choose me. And that's why this space exists. Not just to talk about physical health, but to reclaim your inner vitality. To honor the sacred energy within you. To stop giving it away to shadow, and instead return it to your light. We are not here to tell you what to do. We are here to remind you who you are. And in every video, every message that follows, we will gently uncover the wisdom that was always within you. This isn't about stopping something. It's about starting something deeper. So stay with us. Subscribe. Share this with a brother, a father, a friend who needs to hear this. Because the conversation we're starting here, it's not about fear. It's about freedom. And it's just beginning. There's a quiet dignity in aging well. Not with creams or surgeries, but with awareness, with presence, with truth. And one of the most powerful truths that often gets buried under years of cultural noise is this. The male body was not designed for constant release, especially not after 65. Modern science is slowly catching up to what the ancient world always knew. Your vital essence, in Chinese medicine they called it Jing, in Sanskrit Ojas, is not just some myth, it's your life battery. And every unnecessary release, it draws from that battery. It's no wonder why, after each compulsive moment of pleasure, there's a strange emptiness, a drop in spirit, a fog that creeps into the mind. It's not guilt. It's not shame. It's just your body whispering, I am not meant to give so much away. You see, what they never taught us growing up, Arthur, is that sexual energy, in its purest form, isn't just for sex. It's creative energy. It's fuel. It's the spark behind every great idea, every moment of courage, every meaningful conversation you've ever had. And when it's scattered, you feel it. You forget words. You lose interest in hobbies. You begin avoiding social interactions. Your sleep quality changes. And most dangerously, your sense of purpose starts to dim. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine reclaiming that energy, not in a way that suppresses or denies it, but in a way that transforms it. Because yes, you can transmute that same energy into vitality, into clarity, into power. That is the forgotten path. And it begins with a simple decision: to stop leaking, to start rising. For the man who chooses to walk this path, even at 65, 70, or 80, life begins to return. Not the reckless energy of youth, but the grounded power of presence. The kind of presence that makes others listen when you speak, that makes your children respect your wisdom, That makes you feel like a king in your own skin. And let's not forget this. Your heart, your prostate, your nervous system, they all work in harmony. When one is overstimulated, the others compensate. And too often, it's the heart that pays the price. Many men don't realize this, but frequent, unnecessary self-pleasure in old age can raise the risk of arrhythmia, cardiac strain, and even mood swings tied to hormonal imbalances. Yes, testosterone drops with age. But did you know excessive release can crash your remaining levels faster? It's like throwing water out of a half-full bucket. You don't need more pills. You need less loss. And in that space, you'll find something beautiful. You begin sleeping deeper. Your memory gets sharper. You feel like yourself again, not just a man watching the years pass, but a man who's still deeply alive inside. Because true masculinity doesn't disappear with age. It just waits for you to stop chasing shadows and start standing in your center again. There's an old saying, an elder is not someone who lived long, but someone who grew deep. That's who you are becoming now. And this channel, this space, this message is here to walk with you in that depth, to remind you that your later years are not about decline. They are about refinement, about legacy, about living with such calm strength that others around you begin to feel safe just being near you. So if you're still here listening, not with your ears, but with your heart, that means something inside you knows. You were meant for more than screen-fed sensations and lonely distractions. You were meant for real peace, real presence, real power. And we are here to help you return to it. If this message stirred something deeper inside you, even if just for a moment, honor it. Like this video. Share it with a man who deserves to hear this, and subscribe, because in the journey ahead, we're going to reclaim everything you thought was lost, and more. We're meant for more than screen-fed sensations and lonely distractions.